Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Saturday edition. I'm your host and keeper of the Hairy Channel, and with me tonight, a plethora of minions. So many minions, I have to almost use two hands. Welcome back, Sora Luna.
Hello.
Geodes.
Hello.
DrFunctional.
Hi.
Serenity Star 13.
Hello.
And SkepTok.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, so did anything happen this week, Skep?
Not really. Just war.
Does it really feel like things are just spinning just really rapidly out of control?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, by and large, but in point of fact, there's, everybody's taking the long pause. And Iran really did not think that Israel could kick the living shit out of them the way that they did.
No.
And now they're retrenching, and they are about to make, I think, their first honest offer. And as usual, money will solve all these problems, and the money will be brought to bear, and money will make an arrangement that will last for a few more years before it breaks out in war again. That's my prediction. But anyway, you asked if anything happened. That's my take on what's going on that's important in the world.
Well, people always say that money will solve all problems and that everybody has a price. I'm just waiting for somebody to, offer me whatever mine is, because it just seems to not happen. Yeah. People just don't show up with a wheelbarrow full of money and say, Harry, compromise your principles. And then I go, oh, no. I would never for one wheelbarrow full of money. How about two?
Yeah, it's sort of like when somebody comes up to you and says, you'll have more money than you can ever imagine. And you think to yourself, I can imagine a lot of money.
Yeah, I can imagine a lot of money.
I know about factorial numbers.
It's like
raised to factorials.
There was a comedian back in the day, and he just went by the name The Rube. And throughout this comedy set that he did, he was making this running joke about hash browns. And every time he did it, of course, it was a callback. So, he goes I could go for a whole plate full of these golden, delicious hash browns. And then like 10 minutes later, it's moved up to a wheelbarrow. And then it's like, this like a Winnebago, and then by the time he's done with the set, it's like, I could go for a whole civic center full of those golden, tender, flaky hash browns. Comedy used to be a lot of fun. But anyway,
when you were allowed to make jokes.
When you're allowed to make jokes and just be edgy and nobody gave a crap.
I remember when Richard Pryor was saying things that you can't even say now on TV. Richard Pryor.
Well, remember when Eddie Murphy decided to go stand under hot lights for 2 hours wearing a leather suit? That's amazing. I'm surprised he didn't just die from heat stroke.
He's probably surprised at that too. It can't have been comfortable. I remember that.
Oh God, no. That's just terrible.
It was but for pure raw stand-up talent, Eddie Murphy's one of the best, one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion.
What's fantastic is we just have this embarrassment of riches. There are so many comedians that are good enough that you can legitimately call them the greatest of all time, and then have an argument about which one is the greatest of the greatest.
Exactly. Robin Williams versus Richard Pryor versus who,
Harlan.
Yeah, I could probably... Yeah. Well, the thing about comedians, which I find interesting, is that that's a terrible sentence. Why do I pad it with that many words? Of course, I find it interesting. I wouldn't be talking about it. But the thing about comedians is sometimes my initial take on them is very different than my take a little bit into it. So, like, occasionally I'll run into a comedian where I think that person is not very funny, or I'll think somebody's really, really funny, and then I'll just go, "What the hell was I thinking 3 months ago?" And the bloom goes away really, really quickly on some of these people. I used to think that Mark Normand was really funny. And then I realized that he was basically just doing the same joke and doing, riffing the same way every single time.
Well, that's the thing. The one joke guys, the guys who just basically have one thing and they just, hit it over and over and over again. After a while, they stop being funny.
Yeah. Well, as much as I would love to just talk with Skep for 2 hours, we cannot forget about the rest of the people who are here. Serenity.
Yo.
How is West Virginia? I hear it's wet and flooded in places.
It is right now where I am. It's just raining.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and there's been some thunder and lightning. So hopefully, where's a piece of wood? Knock on wood. No, the internet doesn't go down. But just as a heads up for everybody.
Yeah.
Shouldn't, but just in
Have you had any
case.
flooding?
Well, not where I am.
Yeah.
We're high up enough because you have to go up flat, go up, and that's where we are. And then there's more mountains behind us. So we're in the foothills of the foothills.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if water's up
Understand
around
that.
my neck,
Yeah.
there's
it's bad
problems.
news.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad news.
Serenity is the donor of the lawn furniture that gets washed away, not the
Right,
recipient.
exactly.
Yeah.
Not the recipient.
So when it
We're
rains
not,
a
because
lot,
we-
it's your
we
stuff that
put our
gets washed
stuff
away. Yeah.
We put stuff away. Thank you.
Oh,
very
okay.
much. Mm.
Ooh.
If your outdoor furniture used to be your indoor furniture,
Well, not to mention the
this
fact
might
that
be a redneck.
we don't own any plastic. We own the stuff that my grandparents had, so it's cast iron.
Oh, very good.
So it's the heavy crap. So if it gets washed away, there's bigger problem
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that's some heavy stuff. We
Yeah,
use
that's
that to
a-
hold the umbrellas
It's a
down.
biblical flood.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So hi, Sora.
Hello.
You're back.
I am.
Are you exhausted or rested, tanned, and ready?
Oh, no tan. No rest.
No
Managed
rest
to-
for the wicked.
I would have been on last week because I was back, but ended up giving myself a migraine, which is because it was stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to go on another vacation.
To recover from your vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you just go someplace and do nothing and just like find a beach and just sit there and watch the tide come in and just read a magazine or whatever, that's one kind of vacation. That sounds pretty good to me. But then there's the one where you drive all over the place and like meet with family and see the things and do all the stuff.
No, I don't want to see family.
Okay.
I
That was
wanna be
that was an
alone.
EG, not an IE.
Like, leave me alone, god dang you, leave me alone.
the first one somewhere
Yeah.
alone.
No, that's
A
really,
nice
really good.
breeze.
Yes. Would Madame like another rum drink? Yes, I would.
Wouldn't my damn.
And of course, they're talking to Minnie.
Yes, because I would be the one sitting somewhere.
Oh, that's right. So you were gone, and I assume the dogs were back at home.
No, they were at camp.
Oh, wow. You took them with you?
Puppy camp.
No, they went to puppy
camp.
camp.
They
Oh,
were
okay.
pup camp.
They were
went-
lodged.
They had their vacation.
Them
So they
running
went to
around
puppy
being
prison.
terrorists.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's lovely there. They have mini goats and ponies and they train rescue dogs. The stuff is great.
Have you seen them, or is this just the picture in the brochure?
Oh no,
Because with AI, you
I
can.
have said hello to them.
Okay. So you've gone outside and touched goat. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Very
Yeah.
very sweet.
Do you have anything you would like to share before we move on? Because you haven't been on for a while, so maybe there are a million things you want to say. I don't know. Or zero. No. We didn't plan
Well,
this.
Remember
I-
TOS.
I-
Remember TOS. Gotta say,
Oh
remember
no, I
TOS.
was gonna say it. I feel bad for missing being like when I was closer back because it feels so far away from the trip. But I will say that if anybody ever goes to Greece, because we did manage to have 1 week in Greece, so that of my vacation, so it was mostly going to visit family. That part's not so much a vacation because we go there with a list of honeydews basically to do. But we did like about 6 days, well, 5 days if you take out the travel, and that was very good. And surprisingly, because everything's in euro there, right? But food, which I love, is inexpensive.
Mhm.
Like other things are, if you go shopping or whatever, it's not going to be cheap. But if you go to like nice places to eat, quality of food versus pro. I think it's a good bucket list for people if you like food, because that place, oh my god, especially if you go anywhere near the sea and you like fish.
My name's
Yeah.
Sora. I summer in the Thracian Isles, peasant.
Yeah.
I did
Sounds
swim
awesome.
in the Aegean Sea.
Nice.
Like,
It was
I've
very
touched other
nice.
waters. I've touched waters that have never touched my land before.
It was so warm. No, it was great because it was so warm for me.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
and it was off season still.
Nice.
So there was barely anybody in the water. There
That's
were some
key.
people sort of like hanging out on the beach, but I think to them it was too cold versus me going like, I'm dying. I'm just gonna sit in the water. The water was warm, I'm telling you. And then it's so clear. You can the day we were there was quite wavy, but even with that, you can see down on the way down, which was good because
Crystal clear.
exactly, it was so clean. Oh, it's lovely.
Can I ask? Did you
Stray migrants.
did you happen to patron one of the like catch of the day stalls
So
where they get fresh seafood that morning and they just sell it at the stalls, and like you can open up what are those spiky things called?
the sea urchins?
Urchin, and like yeah, fresh urchin. They crack it right there on the spot, and like
No.
No?
However, we did have what they call tsiporaki a few times.
oh, nice.
Especially, so basically, these are where you go to all these little places that are. Well, you can do it in Larissa and stuff too. So like in the actual cities, but like if you go on in like the little Gulf and stuff, and wherever they have these little eateries, that is basically what they do. So it's whatever is fresh. They'll bring you can select the fish brought in for that day, and then they'll cook it for you, fry it, whatever. And they keep bringing you food because the idea is you're drinking the tsiporo, which is like it's similar to ouzo, but it's distilled or I guess fermented, pardon me, instead of adding alcohol to it. And then you keep drinking that, which is very, very high levels of alcohol, and you keep drinking it because you're eating constantly. They keep bringing you food. You don't get. I've never felt you don't feel bloated. You don't get drunk. It is the best thing ever.
A good balance.
And one of the places we were, yeah, it was great. And it's a mix. So you have some fried stuff, and then you have some like freshly grilled salads, pickles, like pickled veggies and that kind of stuff, pickled octopus. And then one of the places we were eating, they had the octopus like tentacles. They were out in the sun because they have to like drip it or something. I can't remember. I don't remember what the explanation was, but so they're the raw, so freshly cut, and then they kind of were hanging them right by the water's edge there. So it was great. Very good. I like that. That would be the best thing. Like if driving is, oh my god, I thought I was gonna die. I did not. You don't wear seatbelts. At least nobody there wears seatbelts. So I was like, I'm one with the locals. I was away 3 weeks without wearing seatbelts. Coming back here was a bit weird. I'm like, you know what? I kind of like, and then they're going like really like 150 kilometers per hour on the highway, plus not quite
where
Autobahn.
the lanes are half the size.
Yeah, it's actually, so where they were going, they had redone the highway. So between Thessaloniki, Larissa, and shoot, I can't remember the other little town the town we actually stayed in. Name now, so it's like a little village town, considered as like a suburb of Larissa nowadays. But anyway, they redid the highway completely. So especially, and you see it a lot coming from between Athens down to to Larissa, and it is beautiful. So it's super smooth, but you have to go through like 10 different toll booths because they're paying for it. So like you're like fast, and then you stop.
Hurry up and go.
Yeah, no, it's great. It was too short though. Like we were speaking with some people, they're saying like for certain cities like Athens, definitely if you want to go to Crete, that area, that should be your full vacation because there's just so much to do that you need multiple days, and it's true. I just honestly want to go back to eat.
So did you do the drive from Thessaloniki down to Athens? or vice versa?
So we took we stayed a couple days in Athens, and then we took a bus to Thessaloniki.
How long did that trip take?
4 hours, maybe.
Half a day? Oh, okay.
No.
okay.
It's not that long. It's about 4 hours, and it's like a Greyhound.
Right.
It's fairly cheap. I think it was like maybe 30 euros or something. The ticket. It's not expensive whatsoever. And then you can bring your suitcases, right? Because like any of these buses, they don't give you a weight limit or an amount.
Well,
limit
they're
or anything
heavy.
like that. So if you have like what would be a check-in, yeah, it's not a city bus. I should say it's a regular coach bus, and basically because it was my mother has family there, and they said there's no point in flying because where they live is in Larissa or outside of Larissa. So getting the bus from Athens to Larissa, and then they'd pick us up there, and they drove us. So we didn't drive; they drove us. And then after we spent a few days with them, they drove us to Thessaloniki from where they are, which was about. Well, we spent the whole day because we hit the Olympus mountains, and then did from there. So the day before we did the Centauri mountains, the Centaur mountains, and then we were on the Gulf there as well. And then the next day when we actually left, we hit the Aegean Sea, the Olympus Mountains, and then Thessaloniki. So that's a whole day drive, but the actual drive where you to go straight, I think, is just 2.5 hours, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean, they're
that part
heavy.
of the country is close enough.
They're heavy, like tourist economy. So like that all like pretty much tracks. And yeah, 30 euros, that's nothing for a like tourist trappy kind of place where they could easily charge you 100 and people would still pay it because it's better and easier than having a car or whatever. That's I'm so excited. Like, it's so exciting to live vicariously through your trip because I love Greece. Like, I've studied Greece my entire life.
I want to go back and have a proper vacation there. That was amazing. And now that we're kind of like aware of, okay, this is going to sound funny. So I like the language a lot. Now hearing it actually spoken around you, it's a very, very pretty language.
Mm-hmm.
So Athens themselves as a city and how people are dressed and everything. It reminds me of felt. I've never been to a place language not similar.
What, in Athens versus the rest?
Completely unreadable for me. Because I don't have that background. I know, but in Greece in general, right? Like for any other place that I've traveled to, like it's so completely different, and yet I am more comfortable there. It felt so familiar compared to, like, say, even when I visited like France and I could speak or at least read the language to an extent. You know what I mean? So it was just, it had this feeling of like Bucharest in Athens themselves, like the architecture, just the way the city planning is and that kind of stuff. So that was fun. I had a good chuckle out of that. Though there's certain neighborhoods, functional, that is very much downtown east side Vancouver, like complete with open use and injections
Yeah,
like,
that's unfortunate.
Unfortunately, had to step over someone with needles. So I was like, oh, we've
just like home.
I was actually told my mama, because she's like, okay, we're not supposed to stay in this neighborhood. I'm like, there's a bunch of stuff in this neighborhood I want to see. So, like, I don't care. It's the middle of the day. If they don't harm us at home, they're not going to harm us.
And it's not
here.
like they have lax drug laws either.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm forcing Sora to Bogart all the time. I'm so interested in hearing about this.
That's
stuff.
okay. Geodes doesn't mind.
And well,
I
yes.
think,
but also, holy shit, JB, that is unfortunate and somewhat.
What's
funny.
wrong? He was talking about hash browns the other day. I mean, just a second ago. What happened?
His cousin went to Spain.
Oh, God.
And first day there, she saw someone get hit by a car.
Wow.
I'm sorry he got hit.
Incredible.
Just can you imagine, like, first time you haven't been on a vacation for so long, and
It's a good thing I never go.
And then just boom, and just gone.
Well, they have a migrant problem, JB, a bad one.
Mm,
And during
mhm.
lockdown, during the COVID, they had very extreme lockdown, especially like in Athens. And there is a specific neighborhood, I think it's called Omonia, something like that in Athens, which I ended up walking around a few times. It's not bad in terms of
I don't
daylight
want to be there at
times.
night though.
No. And and during the day it was people shooting up. So like for me, it's
Woo!
the sadness of it is that it's similar to very parts of Vancouver. So it was heartbreaking, but not new. So I'll be like, oh yeah, and I knew that was going to be part because I had done some reading before going, but yeah, and they had also like the economy was still is probably quite bad. They'd had some recovery. They have started cleaning up Athens a little bit, but it's going to take. I was reading one person who was saying, like a local, they're saying it's probably going to take another 5 years if they're lucky, if not 10, to really clean up the city. And so that's not a positive thing to hear.
No, that's not good at all. But
Because nobody believes in Zeus anymore.
yeah, Geos,
No, exactly.
Hey,
how's it going, man?
good. It's been a while.
How are things in the Great American Southwest? Are you in drought again yet?
Did we ever leave?
You were
I don't
out
know.
of drought for about a month or two, like a year and a half ago.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, we've had some pretty good storms recently. I almost got flooded out driving back home. But you know, it's that has more to do with bad engineering than necessarily rain.
All I have to say is the West needs to come get their water. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm getting tired of taking all your water. I'm getting tired of it. Take your water and get the hell out.
Take it back.
We'd like the water. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I wish we could reroute it, but then you'd probably drain the Mississippi and then we'd have to fight.
Yeah, we'd use it to grow like
Yeah.
melons in the desert because that's just what you do when you have a lot of water.
Because that's logical.
Or we'd start fighting and saying our neighboring state is taking it all. You know, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
That's what all of you do. That's what California does. That's everybody does that. You're taking our water. Bitch, what?
Basically, the whole history of the West is just water politics. That's most of what it all is.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
How the West was won, contracts and
'cause-
lawsuits.
Because no one knows how to build a good aquifer or cistern. Because you all don't know what to do.
If you know the history, some of it was massacres too, Eric.
Occasionally,
Well,
occasionally good old fashioned corruption. You know. Yeah.
So
But
it's good old fashioned
They
corruption.
killed each other. They killed each other over the water in California.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Not that surprising.
Well, I mean, we don't need to get into a whole conversation of California water politics, but a lot of what's happening now is the result of 100-year plus agreements that
Or bullshit.
that in retrospect, some of the larger cities really don't like them. It's like, what do you mean you have rights to all the water from this region for your potato farm? That's what it says.
You
In
agree to it.
perpetuity,
Your
suck
fault.
Been that
Eat
way
me.
since 1858.
We
What
won't
do you mean
change
we
it.
can't
Good
store
luck.
What do you mean we can't store the water that like falls like we're losing like 95% of it into the ocean? You know, it's like what is this? So it's like
You know, tardigrades and nematodes and other things need water too, Geodes. You can't just use it for your own selfish purposes, you know, cooling your new gaming system.
Yeah.
I know, right? And those farmers can't use it to, you know, rebuild their water wells and not have the soil collapse.
Why recirculate it all? Just have a thing that the hose screws in the back of your PC, the water comes out of the hose, cools the computer, and then goes down the drain. And that way you don't have to have a heat exchanger. You don't have to, I mean, it's so much simpler. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Always thinking. So do you have anything you want to share with the class before we begin?
Oh, no. My life is boring and uneventful, which is, you know, always good and bad. So
No news is good news.
Yeah. Well,
Harry, this is like saying hello to the ants. It takes all day to say hello to everybody.
it does. And you know what? I'm going to actually steal your job from you tonight, Skep, because there's only one person in chat.
JB's in chat.
JB's in chat, and he's the only person talking who, of the people watching, who isn't somebody who's already here in the panel. So let's see. Tonight, chat, I'd like to welcome JB.
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 Welcome, buddy. Glad,
You are
thanks for
100%
showing.
of non-panel chat right now.
Absolutely. You're getting a lot of attention as a result.
That's right. How can we make this show better for JB? That's what I want
That's
to
right.
know. That's
This
the
is
question
JB's
I
show.
usually, yeah,
We're working for JB now.
that's right. He's getting all the service.
That's right. This service you, bud.
All right. Well, what? Okay, so functional.
Oh,
So, is there anything you want to talk about that's just sort of, happy, fluffy stuff before we talk about the terrible thing you want to talk about?
I have a problem, Harry.
Yeah, what is it?
I had girl dinner again.
You did?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
So tell me, so let me be the judge of whether this is actually girl dinner. So tell me,
Why does
Oh,
this
yeah, you?
old man get to judge?
because I know
Girl
what,
dinner.
because I can adjust it for his skill set, because
He can
what passes
adjudicate.
for
You guys
what,
are witnesses
what passes
and
for
experts.
girl dinner for him might be a little different than girl dinner for you guys. Because for you guys, it's like a Slim Jim and half an apple and a pudding cup or something. It's just whatever is within arm's reach when you open up the refrigerator, right?
It's kind of what I did.
There's
So I
a
made-
great silence.
No.
That remark was way more inflammatory. That had the best. That's sort of the response I was looking for, but maybe I was a little harsh.
I eat sliced pepperoni, pretzel chips, and cheese. That's my girl dinner. What I want
Yeah.
after girl dinner. That's it.
Tortilla chips dipped into Nutella.
Yeah.
I mean, girl dinner for me
Delicious.
Get
is
on our level.
leftover roasted chicken, and like
That's
homemade
not girl
sourdough,
dinner.
or maybe I'll just grab some potatoes and throw them
You
in the
guys are
microwave.
talking about hobo dinner, not girl dinner.
Yeah. So
No, that's girl dinner. Girl dinner's like nothing you have to put together and you just eat it.
so what was your girl dinner?
Okay, so I dumped a sleeve of saltines on a plate,
Okay.
Fair.
and then I made this pickled olive chutney.
You
Yeah.
made
chopped
it,
up-
or it was already made.
No, well, the olives were like in a jar, and I chopped them up, and I chopped up some onion and fried those and mixed it all together.
I don't
Nope,
think
not
that
Put it in
counts
a
as girl
bowl.
dinner because
Not
you used
girl
a
dinner.
I
knife
had
and a
some
frying
sliced-
pan.
Some sliced
That is not a front. That is
mini-
not a girl.
mini salamis.
Mhm.
Some pickled egg that I sliced, and what was that other thing? Oh my god, oh yeah, there was some old cheddar that I shaved off, and apple slices with peanut butter on top.
Nope. Too much work to be girl dinner.
So
Nope.
is
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
is plowman
Yeah.
is a
So it was
plowman's
more of a
lunch
charcuterie board.
is a plowman's lunch girl dinner for men?
No.
I was joking about the girl dinner thing.
But what
I
I mean,
know.
what do you think?
I
mean,
know
it
I
is
made a
kind of
charcuterie board.
like girl dinner, except
No, I
it's
just made a charcuterie board with like
He's talking about plowman's
plowman's lunch.
lunch.
Oh,
Is a
plowman's, yes,
lunch
yes.
a girl dinner but for guys?
I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's like some
'cause
sausage, some bread,
you're
some
not
cheese.
preparing anything.
Yeah.
And chutneys and like spreads, I think would count if they come out of a jar that you did not prepare.
Exactly. The minute you have to prepare crap,
Fresh
Unless it-
prepared, or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
freshly prepared.
I feel
nah.
like we need a better definition. Like there should be a maximum number of trips to the refrigerator. Like if girl dinner should just be like you only have to open the refrigerator once.
I mean, like
Yeah.
the only thing I did was chop and fry an onion.
That's
Like, I mean,
still
that's too much work for
That's
That's
where
still
Yeah.
way too much.
Way too much.
So what if I chopped and fried the onion today
No.
and then used
no
it
prep.
tomorrow?
No prep
What
allowed.
if I took a piece of
It was just
string
sitting
and
in the
wrapped it around
fridge.
my house?
Yes, you eat that.
Yeah,
You
what
eat
if
that
I-
onion
what if I
cold.
cooked a souffle.
That onion cold.
Yeah.
exactly.
That's what plowman's lunch
Well-
is girl dinner because it's buttered bread, cheese, cider, British cider, and raw onions is one of the versions of it. So yes, that is girl dinner.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I
girl
love
dinner.
raw
100%.
onion.
I kind of think that
Raw onion.
any sort of
trick-
food that you don't have to spend time preparing in any meaningful way. Like I would say that Kraft macaroni and cheese / Kraft dinner is basically girl dinner for dudes.
Nope.
It is not.
You have
For
to prepare
dudes.
it. Nope.
For dudes.
No, you have to
No.
prepare it. You have to boil the
That's not-
noodles.
that's not
add
even-
in the powder.
No, that's Canadian Thanksgiving.
Now
Yeah.
you know what the best Pop-Tarts.
Pop tarts are awesome.
Pop-Tarts are
Yeah.
great.
Pop-Tarts are it. Yeah.
You know what
Pop-Tarts are
makes
life.
Pop-Tarts better? Just
Hmm.
a little bit of butter on top.
No, cocaine.
Ew.
Try some
Cocaine-
cocaine.
cocaine makes
Cocaine like
everything
that
better.
a lot better than butter for a little while.
It,
Anyway.
it has to be. It has to be good butter. It
Yeah, it's
can't
your
be.
It's your
Good
favorite
cocaine,
pudding. It's
though.
called
Oh, my
Percocet
God.
pudding. It's all the joy pudding, but with Percocet.
Serenity, and the trick
God.
was to not mix the fried onion with the pickled olives until you're ready to eat, because then it just makes the onion soggy by the time. But it was good. I've never done that before, but that was good. And I mean, olives are kind of good, but like I don't eat them. Like I put them in things or with things. I don't even know why I have a jar of olives to begin with, but I just started do it. Yeah, I know.
Harry.
Well,
But
we're
with the
about to
fried
talk
onion,
about
it was
something
really
depressing,
good.
so I'm trying to cheer people up ahead of time.
Oh,
Like-
your mother.
Well, you wanted to talk about this this story, right? This
Sure, let's
thing?
get into it.
Michaela Raines dies by suicide at 29. Husband blames online abuse. I know nothing about this story. I don't know. I'm not aware of this person. I'm completely relying on you. In fact, I'm going to go refill my teacup while you introduce the topic. So I think it's you and so who's going to want a piece of this? You and Geodes, right? And then I don't know, maybe some other people.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk amongst yourselves. We'll be back in about a minute. Don't get us canceled.
So yeah,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to treat this very delicately because this was really shocking to me as somebody who appreciates her content and what she did in the world. She was genuinely, seemingly a good person who, for those who don't know, Michaela Raines does a YouTube channel where she runs a fox rescue with her husband, and through the profits of her YouTube channel, she is able to take in foxes that can't be reintroduced into the wild, so a sanctuary, and doing some good in the world, like helping animals. I love animals. I love it when people have the ability to do this. And so, but not only did she seem like a very nice and good person, but she was doing some real world good in the world. And not everybody has to send rockets to Mars to be an amazing person. Sometimes it's just knowing what you can do within your limits to do something. And so when I heard this news, I was very taken aback. I didn't believe it, because in today's world, you can easily believe that something is made up just for clicks and this and that. And some of the most egregious people would not be above using somebody's death or faking somebody's death as sort of a way to do that. So I had to really look into it, and sure enough, it's unfortunate, but apparently the story is that she was for plenty of time now, an undeterminate but a extended period of time, online people, other sanctuary organizations, I'll underline that part, have been targeting her with harassment and abuse for what she does. And it is reported that she's already a type of person who suffers from some maladies of the depressional variety. So it all kind of added up, and it's tragic. I hope that everything is as it seems, because some of the hearsay and conjecture that people are even just passingly saying, not with any malicious intent, just like hypothesizing what might have gone, or what the alternative stories might be, are a lot worse than what the reality is. I can just hope that it's not going to change anything really, but it would be nice to see some of these competing organizations get their due in a court of law for this egregious targeted harassment campaign. Because that's just not right.
No.
I'm getting a little worked up, so please, if Geodes, you want to get a piece of this, and we'll go around the table.
I might hold off a little bit if anybody else wants to say anything.
Well, she's also, I don't know if that it comes into it, but she, beyond the foxes, so she took a little bit also her other stuff she did. She took foxes in from farms. So
Yes.
like foxes who are farmed for the fur trade. And that's, they campaign money, like did money campaigns, I guess. I'm not sure if they had any other. You could donate to their website, so I think people can just
Yeah, they
donate
were,
directly to them just
They
outside
were
of
a
YouTube.
registered charity. Yeah.
Yeah. and they had all sorts of other animals as well. On their, you could see exactly what the enclosure looked like. They were very transparent as a rescue, which I really liked. They went through what the different enclosures look like, how they separated the different foxes, how certain ones they would actually stay in the house with them while they acclimatized. It's absolutely just really lovely things.
Mhm.
So that to see someone so passionate about something, and there were not that many people, as far as I understand it. I don't know if there's more people just beyond what's on their website about like the main team, but it seems that that's not a lot of people. So I'm sure it was very stressful, very long days of work.
Mhm.
Maybe not a lot of mental health support, not enough time or money to help herself. It's a very sad situation, but if there is evidence or ability to go after that, it's going to be very, very, very difficult.
Potentially,
If there
yeah.
is, because unless they can pinpoint to a specific person that, because there's been convictions of people who have been convicted for luring people and encouraging them to end their life. So maybe. I think one of the there was even a Reddit snark page that shut down immediately upon the news of they locked it down.
Mhm.
So that feels a bit telling, but probably they did that just to avoid people coming and harassing them. Yeah.
It gonna be a little bit of an asshole. So don't want anybody dead. Don't want anybody to commit suicide. She claimed she'd been diagnosed with both autism and BPD. That is a very hard and very rare thing to happen.
What is
It could have
that?
been she got
What was she diagnosed with?
autism and BPD.
Borderline personality disorder.
I think it was bipolar.
Oh, okay.
But
Too many TLAs.
Well, that's the thing. It's like that's very rare if it happens, and it's usually very extreme if that's the case. There's also the fact that she had. While I do not agree with OnlyFans, if you have one, I don't care. She did have a tendency in her OnlyFans, which she had to use the animals as props. She also had, in more than one occasion, in some of her more scandalous photos, her daughter can literally be seen in the back of the ground of the photo. Doesn't mean she deserved to die. She also had a bad tendency to buy from fur farms, not rescue them from fur farms. She would actually buy directly from the fur farms, which just gives them more money. And she also owned a fennec fox for her own personal pet that she got from a, air quotes, reputable breeder. She's not perfect, but nobody is, but they also raised a lot of money that no one can account for. They raised almost $1 million and no one knows where it went.
That's
It was $700,000. But her husband has a very nice collection of cars. Including a Porsche, Mustang GT, old Chevy, a Lincoln Navigator, and a few other cars.
That's a lot of cars.
And he's got a few more too. But the one I feel sorry for the most in all of this is their daughter, because she didn't deserve any of this. That's my stance. And the animals, because the animals didn't deserve it.
Well, how old is the daughter?
I think she's like 4 or 5, if that.
Yeah, she's a baby. She's a toddler.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that,
well,
as with,
the next thing that's come out, like from what you're saying, stuff is, are they going to start painting him as like an abuser, enabler?
well, when the video
like
when the video first came out, a lot of people were like, because I remember seeing comments underneath of it on a forum site where they were basically like, well, they need to check his ass. Because now, mind you, I don't doubt that she actually did commit. But I have a feeling that if she got if she went to 2 different doctors and got diagnosed with BPD and autism, she was probably taking conflicting meds. And that's probably what caused it. Doesn't mean the harassment didn't happen. It probably could have been harassment too, but it probably was a whole host of other things, a whole host of things probably together. Because like I said, bipolar and autism don't really go together that well. They're kind of conflicting in a way, but like I said, if she went to 2 different doctors and they told her 2 different things and she was taking 2 different medications, it's hard to say what kind of happened there.
But that is pure speculation on your part.
Yeah, that is pure speculation. I am
just
not,
to be clear.
But that could make her, if she was taking either bad meds or something that conflicted, that would make her more open to online harassment, as in it affecting her more.
I have a dumb question.
Go for it.
Now, with the kind of money that sounds like they were bringing in, don't people at that level, sort of at that strata, usually have social media managers who read this stuff? I mean, isn't it stupid for somebody at that level to be reading their own comments? Because I hear, we talk about comedians, right? I listen to a lot of podcasts with professional comedians, and they will always say, I don't read that stuff. Yeah. There's 1 or 2 that'll actually read the comments that are pretty thick-skinned, but most people, once you reach a certain level of professionalism, just do not read their own comments. So the abuse really shouldn't have actually been getting to her, is I guess what I'm naively
unless they
saying.
were physically showing up.
I think I can maybe start.
Yeah.
Because I actually was talking with Harry a little briefly about this before, because I was warning I might play devil's advocate a bit. So
beat you to it, motherfucker.
You did. But yeah, no. I'll start with this. I think I want to kind of start with the what I think could be a really good. The point that I think a lot of people online are missing with this is that this is actually a really good prime example of when you have a bunch of people online, whether it's Michaela or in some of the cases, the people who are online that I looked at who were claimed to be harassers, that we'll talk about that in a bit, but a lot of these people really need to prioritize their well-being first. And honestly, getting off of social media is a really good first step for that. So the way I kind of dived into this, I found the Quarterings video on it because I wanted to kind of see what he had to say on that, and that was an interesting experience because it was sort of like watching 2 stories playing out at the same time. You would see the posts that he would bring up, and then he'd be like, "Oh, look at these horrible people harassing and stuff like that," and I would pause and I would read the post, and I'm like, "This doesn't read like harassment. This reads more like criticism." And I went onto Internet Archive and started looking at this Reddit thread that is the one you mentioned, Sora, that's been banned.
The snark page, yeah.
The snark page. So people who don't know what a Reddit snark page is, they kind of started to kick off around during the lockdowns. It's kind of like a commentary page on like people who are it's people who are online who have like a social media presence. And some of these can get pretty bad. You have people who like talk about other people faking cancer and stuff like that, for example, on some of these threads. So I went and found this one. Near as I can tell, and it's just based off of when they were doing screenshots, so it might be a bit older, but near as I can tell, this page was only maybe a year old. And there were really only like 2 or 3 people interacting on it. And almost every post was them kind of talking about, like, look, there's a lot of concerning practices going on here. Like there's situations where they were worried about her. Apparently, I guess there was like sometimes fur that I guess would come off of some of the foxes that they were worried were kind of being almost like in certain situations advertised as being like not like fur selling. I don't want to go that far, but like almost as a way to kind of like try and raise like
the girl with the bathwater.
Yeah, kind of like that is a good way to explain it. There was mention of the OnlyFans on Corey's video as well. And they even, you mentioned the cars. There was an image where she's sitting in front of one of her husband's cars, and she's just like, "Oh yeah, he just bought like this nice car for me. He just doesn't know it's for me yet," or something. And she's like dressed in like a swimming suit with like her like looking very like sexy posed and stuff like that. It was there. Then he started getting into some of the people who they claimed were harassing. And he Quartering straight up was like showing these people's faces, which that kind of shocked me. He's like, well, if they're doxing her, so it's only I don't really have any moral qualms doxing them, and especially when these are not children. First image he posts pulls up, I'm looking at him like, this person looks like a middle schooler or a high schooler. I don't know where this is coming from. And this guy, our girl, I wasn't quite sure. They were going after them because of some comments regarding. I want to be very careful how I say this. Let's just say this person has like a lot of affinities for certain communities.
Starts with an F, ends with a Y.
That there's
or the
there's
L
some,
and the I.
A bit of both.
Oh,
a bit of
fun.
both.
Blech.
But he's trying to be like, oh, look at like all the horrible things they claim they want to do to, X, Y, Z, or, look at the content they post. And I'm reading this person's post as he's saying this. And this person is basically saying, I hate thinking this way. I want to stop thinking this way. I need help. That is literally what she or he was saying in their post. So I'm struggling to see, at least from the online standpoint, the harassment side. And from what it looks like, Michaela found these posts about 2 months prior to her unfortunate end. And she was responding, and she was not handling it well. Like some of the responses were definitely very emotional. We were talking about the social media manager. It doesn't look like she had one. It looks like she was responding directly. And then of course there's the video of the husband where I didn't have a problem with it up until they start talking about the harassment, where he starts going. And for those of you who were responsible for this, I wish you could have been there when I found her and when they were wheeling her out, and why my daughter is asking where her mommy is or something like that. It's very disturbing that was even in the video. And I understand he's emotional. I get it, but that's not the time and place to put something like that in there. I'm just going to, especially if you're trying to talk about awareness of situations like hers. But I just want to kind of go back to the main point here, is that I kind of think what it is she really was having a lot of issues. Probably just wasn't on camera or wasn't being shown, and she really needed to have those handled first. And unfortunately, I don't think she did. And I think a lot of this tension, whether it's OnlyFans or whether it's the rescue, I kind of feel like it was almost like somebody trying to feed a void almost, and just there's probably depression most likely, and there was just nothing that it was. I think it was eventually going to happen, and it really is a terrible loss. And if you are somebody who's in like a situation like that, please seek help. Please, for the love of God.
When did this occur?
This week,
27th.
Okay, because
what day was that?
We're not to the
Friday.
72-hour wait period.
Yeah, because it's awfully early. In a month, things may look very, very different.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of uncertainty. We can't, like, for instance, I wasn't trying to get down on Serenity about the speculation thing. I just want to make it clear that we don't have any special information. It's just like, informed speculation.
That's why I'm very precise in when I, introduce the topic, in saying like, this is how things are reported right now. It's, everything is obviously open to change over the next little bit. I mean, I'm not the type of person, Serenity, that I look at that kind of stuff that you brought up.
Yeah.
So I had no idea. I mean, it doesn't change the fact how I feel about a topic like this, because as I said to some of you offline on Discord, like, yes, I feel bad, all that aside. I think that, we need to start teaching young people as early as we can. The internet is a very chaotic place, let's say. And you got to learn, like Geodes was bringing up, you got to learn to just tune out of social media every once in a while. You got to learn to, yes, if you are starting content, to allow some of these nasty comments to just sort of roll off your back. Be the duck, channel your inner duck, and just have those negative comments just roll off your shoulders. And if it does start to get to you, take a step back for a little bit. Like you said, prioritizing your own self over being some sort of like influencer or whatever. The only thing I knew is what I saw in her YouTube channel, because I thought, this is why I have mad respect for Serenity and her family, because they do animal rescue, and it's just like on the surface, just that. To me is a noble endeavor in one's life to sort of make a positive good in the world with what they can affect. So,
and I thank my grandfather every single day for the fact that man was a penny pinching crazy man, because then I don't have to do any of that OnlyFans or YouTube crap. I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
I don't have to raise money. I don't have to do any of that stuff. We halfway house and then they're gone.
I'm just.
Hey, have you checked the bank book recently? Oh well.
Yeah. Hey, thankfully West Virginia's cheap.
Yeah,
it's a cheap little state.
That's a good thing. All right, so it's very hard to transition from this to literally any other story.
Right.
I will tell you that one of the new laws that's going into effect on July 1st in California is they're actually going to, on the back of student IDs, I believe it is, they're going to be forced to put like a QR code and information about like mental health services and unaliving yourself preparedness and that sort of stuff.
That's what I think of when I'm having a mental health breakdown.
Hey, wait!
Check my student ID.
Check my student ID. Oh, I guess the school does care. I'm not just
that phone out and put the camera.
I'm not
on
just a piece of meat that sits in a chair where they get paid X number of dollars a day if I show up.
Oh boy, how much does that cost in California?
Oh, I forget what it was. And I even forget what it was called, but it's a thing. They would essentially, the revenue the school would get in was essentially student butt seat days. That was how they would compute how much money they got from the state.
Oh, so this is a way for I'm gonna, it's not laundering money, but everybody's gonna get what I mean. This is their way that if certain people in the Trump administration pull money from California colleges, they can still get the California colleges. I have no
idea how it works at the college level, but at the elementary through high school level, essentially the schools get money based on how many students sit in how many seats over a year, and if you don't show up, they don't get paid, which is part of why they. The whole truancy thing is such a bugaboo for them.
Oh, the little babies.
But, okay, let's see. I already showed this picture. Did you all see that?
Oh, your baby.
Yeah. This is a wiener retriever, just like your mom. Okay. All right, so completely different topic. There was a Supreme Court decision this week, and everybody is sort of taking from it what is most convenient for them. But the long and short of it is that the Supreme Court came down and said that these district federal courts can't just run around creating injunctions that cover the entire country, because every time somebody wanted to stop Trump from doing something, they would go to one of three states, not every time, but like 95% of the time, and then find some liberal judge there, and then they would create this injunction and say, okay, well, this is off the table for Trump nationwide, or you should go get this person from another country. I mean, they were really, really flexing their muscle here judicially. And the Supreme Court came down on this, and that's not terribly surprising. This hasn't decided the whole birthright citizenship thing yet. It's just a narrow point of it, meaning, you know, what authority do these lower court federal judges actually have? Now,
Can I characterize the decision in one fairly easy sentence?
sure.
Okay. The Supreme Court decided that the Federal Judiciary Act of 1789 created the 700 federal judges in the United States, did not create those federal judges having the right to stop the president of the United States doing what he wants to do anytime they disagree with him. That's just a non-starter. You cannot have 700 vetoes of the president of the United States agenda. You can't have that. You will not have a functioning government. And the Supreme Court decided that, I think, correctly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like what Harry said. It's like they just go to a judge that they know is going to side with them and appeal to them, and then he or she puts a stop
that's
to
another
it.
thing of the injunctions. 95% injunctions came from 3 of the, whatever it is, 30 or 35 courts, or however many courts they have, came from 3 courts.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is even more BS. It's like it's got to be a hat. It's got to be pick out of a hat what judge you get. Nuh-uh, you don't get to choose, mother effer.
But the fun part is the majority position was written up by Amy Coney Barrett. Okay. Yep. Now, there were 3 dissenters, Kagan, Ketanji Brown, and Sotomayor.
Ketanji Brown learned not to put her dissents in writing, didn't she?
Yeah, and so Amy Coney Barrett, basically, and a lot of other people after the fact, have been having a little fun at Ketanji Brown's expense. Some people going so far as to question, you know, whether she should even be on the court. Doesn't matter. She's on the court until she chooses to not be on the court or passes away. Whatever, you know, comes to pass. She's there. We get to live with it. She can be our legal lol cow. She
maintained that the federal judges were just forcing the president to enforce the law. That's an absolutely risible, laughable position.
It is pretty bad. So I actually have the decision here, the Amy Coney Barrett thing. I thought I would just read a few excerpts from it just for fun. Okay, so
her takedowns of Brown Jackson just hilarious.
The principal dissent focuses on conventional legal terrain like the Judiciary Act of 1789 and our cases on equity. Justice Jackson, however, chooses a startling line of attack that is tethered neither to these sources nor, frankly, to any doctrine whatsoever. waving away attention to the limits on judicial power as a mind-numbingly technical query, she offers a vision of the judicial role that would make even the most ardent defender of judicial supremacy blush. In her telling, the fundamental role of courts is to order everyone, including the executive, to follow the law, full stop.
She wrote.
Because I said so. Yeah. So she goes here, you know, rhetoric aside, Justice Jackson's position is difficult to pin down. She might be doing, you know, this. She might be doing this. It goes on for a while because Amy Coney Barrett is a pretty darn good writer. We will not dwell on Justice Jackson's argument, which is at odds with more than 2 centuries worth of precedent, not to mention the Constitution itself. We observe only this: Justice Jackson decries an imperial executive while embracing an imperial judiciary. No one disputes that the executive has a duty to follow the law, but the judiciary does not have unbridled authority to enforce this obligation. In fact, sometimes the law prohibits the judiciary from doing so.
From doing just that.
See Marbury versus Madison, you know, yada, yada, yada. Justice Jackson skips over that part because analyzing the governing statute involves boring legalese. She seeks to answer a far more basic question of enormous practical significance. May a federal court in the United States of America order the executive to follow the law? In other words, is it unnecessary to consider whether Congress has constructed the judiciary? What matters is how the judiciary may constrain the executive. Yeah, her and Jonathan Turley and lots of other people are all having a great deal of fun at Ketanji Brown Jackson's expense. And I'm all for it, because this is the most entertained I've been by the Supreme Court in quite a while.
I'm going to ask a timeline question, so I apologize. This has to do with Ketanji Brown, not
Sure.
this ruling.
Sure.
Was she a justice at the time that there was the leak of about the abortion?
I don't remember. I think she came after that.
Okay. Because I was like, I think I know who the leaker is. But yeah, no, oh boy.
I'm pretty
She's got
sure
a
it was one of
paycheck.
the. I was one of the staffers. I doubt that one of the
Guaranteed.
justices would have done that. It was probably one of
No.
the staffers who were thinking they were doing the justice a favor.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, all the justice had to do was leave the paper out. So
Even though Ketanji Brown might not be the sharpest tool in the tool belt at the Supreme Court,
Sharpest spoon.
I think we have to give them all the benefit of the doubt here and just say that they're all at least honest people, doing their jobs honestly. But I don't think that extends to the people who work for them.
she's got a job for the rest of her life that pays pretty dang well. That's
Yeah,
the
no
only
reason to
thing I'll
screw that up.
say.
And,
That's the-
uniform included, she doesn't have to, I don't think they charge her a cleaning fee for those robes or anything. So it's a pretty good gig.
Yeah.
Pretty cushy. How much time do they get off? Don't they get like several months a year off? It's like being in school again. They get like a few months of recess. More vacation than I get.
Well, you don't take it, Harry.
Even if I did, no, that's not the point. Even if I can't. You were talking about not having cell phone coverage and being out in the woods and getting away from it all. I wish that was the case. I still remember being paged on a satellite pager and having to use a cell phone to call a customer a long time ago. I've never been out of touch.
The justices typically have periods of recess during the summer, usually from late June or early July until October. And winter holidays, though, they may use that time for legal research, writing opinions, or other judicial
Or they're
duties.
tanned.
Additionally, justices may take personal leave or sick leave as needed. That's what basically happened with Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah.
Though such instances are not publicly detailed due to privacy considerations, aka we don't want anybody to know that there's a skeleton sitting on the court. But anyway.
But it's a pretty cushy job in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, no, 110%.
Yeah, I mean, because even school kids only get, 2.5 months now?
It depends on the state.
Yeah, and the country.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know at least Skep was amused by this. I know I was. I really enjoyed reading through much of this, although I couldn't read the whole thing. It's very, very long, not
She's
surprisingly.
a very windy lady.
But Amy Coney Barrett, I don't really recall ever seeing one of these decisions where one of the justices in the majority took a swipe at a justice in the minority quite this bad.
I feel like she's talking crap behind the scenes, and that's the reason why they were like, "All right, honey, we're going to do this public. Here we go."
No, it's fine. All right, so let's see. Actually, I hadn't thought past this. We have so many things to talk about. So there's this thing here. We now have the new socialist who's supposed to be who basically got the
Welcome to the
nomination
fold,
for the
comrades.
Democratic Democratic nominee for be the next mayor of New York. So the current mayor, Adams, is
Cracking down on bad landlords. Yeah, sure.
he's basically running as an independent right now.
Yep.
And all of the same group of idiots who vote for AOC have decided, yeah, this sounds great. Why don't we just get a failed DJ and have him be the next mayor of New York? Because that's going to work out fantastic.
A
So-
communist Islamist.
Oh yeah,
Which is just a counterintuitive.
it's like Sad Dick Khan over in London,
London,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like that,
Londonistan.
but worse. I mean, honestly, I think he might be worse than Sad Dick.
I
Well,
do
yeah,
agree
no,
with
he's
some.
yeah.
Sorry,
Yes, I
Serenity and then Skep, because I
Yes.
think Serenity was going.
Go ahead.
Well, I
go
was just
ahead,
gonna say,
Serenity.
I agree with supporting homeowners ending deed theft. That's the only thing of his I agree with.
Yeah, Skep.
Well, yeah, this guy is. He reminds me a little bit of Sadiq Khan. I think he probably styles himself a little bit as that kind of a leader. He wants to lead the Islamization of the United States, and that is his desire as a good Muslim. Good Muslim man is required by his religion to want to convert every other human to Islam. That is a fundamental tenet of that religion.
Through any means necessary.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it
that's
says,
kind of true, and that's a little bit harsh to them.
Well, they're allowed to
Especially you have
lie
yeah, they can do takia and all the other forms of
Break their
severance
commandments
that are
yeah.
outlined in various the Muslim hadith.
But let's look
And
at the finer points of
Sorry.
his little platform here. So as mayor, Zohran, not the Zohan, the Zohran, will put our public dollars to work and triple the city's production of permanently affordable, union-built, rent-stabilized homes, constructing 200,000 new units over the next 10 years.
Where's
Any
that capital gonna
100%
come from?
affordable development gets fast-tracked, no more pointless delays, and Zohran
Where does the money come from?
will fully staff our city's housing agencies so we can actually get the work done. Well,
Where's
they're going to raise a lot of money on people making, I guess they're talking about like a 2% tax on
New York-
people with
New
over
York
$1 million.
City New York City can barely pay its debt service.
And I'm actually
Can't
not
afford to do this.
I'm actually not sure if it's going to be like some sort of wealth tax or whether it's an income tax, because you and I both know that the really rich people don't actually get a income check. They do that thing where they basically borrow against their capital, or they get it through some other means. It's like, oh, the fun you can have with an S corp. You know, there's a lot of things that you can do, which puts all of that stuff out of reach of an income tax.
Yep.
And
Got
just
options that are worth a lot of money. Let me show you what to do.
and how big a bureaucracy are they going to need to basically have city tax auditors going after people's income? Can you imagine the size of that department?
It's and saying that we're going to go after the white suburbs first and using
Oh yeah,
the
they're going to
word
raise
white?
the tax rates in the white neighborhoods first.
Yeah, that's what you think.
That'll get thrown at
you may
judges.
think that.
Well, here's
Yep.
your get rid of the police thing. You know, the Department of Community Safety. He doesn't like
Yep.
police. He thinks, you know, community safety officers. That's going to be fantastic.
Mhm.
City-owned grocery stores. That's
Oh God.
Here's
Yeah.
here's the
Literal
thing.
bread lines.
Yeah.
Here's the thing
Yeah.
that he realizes though is that when somebody murders somebody, they don't spend all day murdering people, do they? They murder the person, and then most of the time, they're behaving normally, going through their day, da 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 da, and maybe at 4 o'clock, they murder somebody.
so they're
Why
mostly
should they-
peaceful.
They're mostly peaceful. Why does that person have to sit in jail? Explain to me. Just because for 1 minute out of the day he goes and kills somebody?
That's what restorative justice is all about, Skep.
Well, yeah. Why don't we just say, hey, calm down. Let's not kill anybody else today, and everybody goes on, and he's fine too. He has a good life.
Well, okay, no cost childcare. Sure, that sounds
Yeah.
great. Everybody likes that.
Everybody likes to work for free.
Baby baskets for New York's newborns.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
What? Like,
Yeah. Oh, he's talking about the abortion service. Wait, baskets?
No,
for
no,
the
no, no,
babies
no,
to-
he's-
to leave in or
No.
for the
It's
babies?
it's a lot of other countries do it where when the mom gives birth, you get a basket of the first month, 2, 3, 4 months of
oh, okay.
what the baby means. That's what I assume he means. I haven't read it.
Oh, I thought it would be a basket that the baby would live in. I'm
It
not
could-
sure
well,
it
that-
really matters.
no,
There's
it
no money for
usually
either
is.
one.
Exactly. That's what-
It usually is. It's
little
like a
home for
bassinet.
the type.
It's a little cheap bassinet, and then diapers and formula, and onesies and blankets and stuff like that.
That's
what a
kind
lot
of
of
cute.
like. There's some stuff I don't disagree with him on. I don't know where he's going to get the freaking money.
I'm just not sure
Yeah.
it's up to the city of New York to do those things. That's
No,
the
it's not.
thing.
That's not what a city is supposed to do.
Well,
That's not
there's-
how that works.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that he's promising stuff that a lot of it is legislate. Like it has to go to the state. It can't go to him. He doesn't have that kind of power as mayor.
No, but he can promise it to get himself elected,
Yeah.
and so he can funnel money to his buddies. That's all that's going on here.
Oh yeah, no, it's like his taxing thing. I think I heard him on one of the radio shows. He was on the one the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about if you even do business in New York, he's going to tax you.
Yes,
not
that's
that your headquarters is here.
Well,
If you-
he desperately would like to get his hands on just a little tiny piece of the action of all the stuff going through the stock exchanges and all of the
And
other
it's like-
financial institutions.
Judges will people will send that through the judiciary system real effing fast.
Does anyone want to tell him how stocks really get traded?
No, I don't want to talk to him at all because I don't have time for freaking communists. But there have been cities in Florida that have already said, well, if he starts monkeying with the exchanges, you're more than welcome to move them down here.
Yeah.
We're just fine. So here's the tax thing. Okay, so Zohran I keep wanting to say it's like Zofran, Skep.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah, no, I want
I
it to be. I want it to be Zofran too.
Don't mess with
Zofran
Zohan.
or Zohan, either one, but not Zohran, has a plan to bring down the cost of living through city-owned grocery stores, universal childcare, and other bold proposals, and he knows exactly how to pay for it too. This is the part you want, Skep, right? Okay. Zofran's revenue plan will raise the corporate tax rate to match New Jersey's 11.5%, bringing in $5 billion. Easy as, okay? And he will tax the wealthiest 1% of New Yorkers, those earning above $1 million annually, a flat 2% tax. Right now, the city income tax rates are essentially the same whether you make $50,000 or $50 million. Zohran will also implement common sense procurement reform, senseless no-bid contracts, hire more tax auditors, and crack down on fine collection from corrupt landlords to raise an additional $1 billion. He's never been on the receiving end of a tax audit.
No.
People have no freaking clue how expensive a tax audit is to the person being audited.
Right.
To these big companies. And it's just the kind of thing that makes a business that's thinking about moving out of New York because it's too expensive or too cumbersome or whatever. That's the straw that might just break the camel's back and send a whole bunch of businesses out of the state. Or, I mean, out of New York City, certainly, and probably out of the state completely, because who wants to put up with Hochul? So Hochul and a lot of the more mainstream Democrats are really... they're very upset that the pucker factor is very, very high right now in the Democratic Party. I think they thought that Cuomo was just going to win on name recognition or something because they just
That's
kind
what
of
they always
lazily,
do.
they just lazily threw him out there and just sort of figured, well, you don't have a choice. You have to vote for Cuomo. And a lot of the liberals in New York just said, no. If we'll vote for AOC, you don't think we'll vote for Zohan? Because they will.
Yep.
I like it because it really takes a lot of the heat off of California. And I feel like this is going to be a teachable lesson for a lot of other places. So Sora and I are both going to benefit from this because the harder he craters New York, the less likely we're going to be subjected to the same kind of crap. Because we'll just be able to point to it and go, well, failed here.
You want to hear? I'm reading the actual full tax plan.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay.
As the city's economy grows, the city's revenue naturally will grow another 2 to 3 billion.
Mhm.
That's the header. And then people will want to live in New York City, and it drives higher tax receipts before raising any additional money. The next mayor
come
will
for the
likely
higher
have nearly
taxes.
3% more money in 2026 than Eric Adams has today. Money they must invest in the city, not waste.
That sounds fantastic.
This is like the thing from like a year or two ago that with the mansion tax in California, Southern California, in Los Angeles County. This is exactly like this. It's like, honey, like you have no proof you're going to be able to do any of this. Also, and he also cites Massachusetts as a proof of something. People in Massachusetts are running from people are leaving Massachusetts in droves because of the taxes. Like, why are you this is so the person who wrote this was one of those kids who makes up their own degree. One of those kids who came from that school. Their own that's what this reads like because this understands nothing. Because we're going to tax the 1%ers. Most of the 1%ers, their apartments aren't in their name; they're in company names. So they have a worth of a certain amount of money, but they don't actually have liquid funds. Very often those apartments are in the company name. You have no proof of that. Oh, we'll have auditors. Your auditors are going to have to know how the tax code works. And trust me, New York is not an easy tax code. I guarantee you most of them don't understand how the tax codes work.
No, that's why it's a simple 2% tax. It's like, how much money do you have? You know?
The thing is, he thinks that it's in like a year, he thinks that it's going to the city's revenue will naturally grow another because everybody will want to live in New York City. It's like, no,
it's all a huge fiction. But you have to go deal with dogs, don't you?
In a few minutes, they're still
in
good.
a few minutes. Well, I'm gonna switch the topic because I think we might cover a record low number of topics tonight. I don't know. We'll see.
Woo!
We would just switch straight into meme review for the rest of it. But I do want to talk about this. Okay, so we dropped 14 bunker busters on the Iranian uranium enrichment sites, right? So Iran responded by sending 14 of their high-tech missiles at our airbase. Now, interesting though, the fact that there's like a certain symmetry, and you hear Trump talk about it, and it sure feels they evacuated the airbase. They left 28 American troops there, plus there were some locals manning Patriot batteries. And they fired 3 to 4 interceptors for every ballistic missile that was coming into the airbase. And they destroyed them all, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we want to see. Oh, one of them actually landed?
Yeah, one was headed to a harmless area, so they let it hit the ground and explode rather than waste missiles on it.
Well, those interceptors are expensive. That's just smart, honestly.
Yep, that's protocol.
And everybody has declared success, right? The Iranians say, yeah, we got back at the Americans. And the Americans are like, yeah, well, we stopped all your missiles. Everybody's happy. And there's a ceasefire. And there's, kumbaya, right? Kumbaya in the Middle East. But I guess the thing about this is it feels a lot like just weird political theater to me. Like, this wasn't like a real raid. And we have the pictures of all of those trucks that were lined up near those sites that we bombed the crap up ahead of time. Possibly they moved a whole lot of stuff out of there before our bombs ever showed up. They're trying to sort of minimize the loss of human life here because that's the kind of thing that creates grudges, of course. I don't think that that's a bad thing at all. But doesn't this just feel like theater to you, Skep?
My opinion is that MotZ has got that country so thoroughly wired for sound that they know exactly what's going on. The Iranians are many things. They're not stupid.
Oh, no.
They know that MotZ has them by the balls. They truly do. They know that they have been deeply compromised, and that nothing that they plan or say and do can be considered to be, secret. It seems to leak almost as soon as it leaves Khomeini's mouth. They're very concerned, very paranoid right now, and the fact is that's also largely true. Mossad probably where any enriched uranium or any centrifuges they managed to extract from any one of those 3 places. They know where it is, where it's stored, and all that sort of thing. It's not really too hard to follow that sort of thing. When you've done the amount of advanced work, I mean, like 25 years of advanced work Mossad has done in Iran. You can't do this any better than what they've done.
No, you can't. But between the drones and all of this remote stuff and us sort of being at war with people without ever putting a foot on the ground in the country, it's all feeling very synthetic.
Well, it's different.
It's definitely different. It's not like a war like it used to be.
Yeah, you don't have pictures of Vietnam. You don't with Walter Cronkite telling you about the 100 Americans that got killed this week.
Yeah, and you're not seeing a bunch of caskets coming home with flags on them.
Right. Exactly. Or scenes of jungle combat or anything like that. Most of this stuff is done by missiles.
I'm not saying I want these things to happen, but
it's just that warfare has changed.
But my fear is that the more antiseptic this stuff becomes, the easier it's going to be to sort of sell it to people who just sort of don't care, and we don't want to be involved in a lot of this stuff.
That's why we have to keep our finger on our moral pulse.
I think it becomes a lot harder when it almost seems like a video game.
Absolutely. It can be slip into very moral areas.
Hey kids, are you good at video games? Yeah.
You want to kill some enemies? It's just like it. It's
sure.
like Call of Duty.
It's like Ender's Game.
Yeah, like Ender's. Yeah.
Yeah, it was reminding me just a little bit of an episode of Star Trek, because everything reminds me of an episode of Star Trek. Do you remember this one?
A lot of good ideas.
Oh, come on, load.
No sound.
Yay. You can turn on the the subtitles and we'll read
Oh,
it.
I guess I need to have the sound on. But
There
yeah,
we
so
go.
basically this is the thing where they've been at war for 500 years and they just have these computers that calculate
Oh,
all of
you
the
have
synthetic.
to report to die?
Yeah,
What
and
is
you
it?
have to go to
Yeah.
this disintegration
A
chamber.
hit right
Yeah.
here in the city.
Do you hear any explosions, Mr. Smith?
None, Captain.
No, because it's a series of computers basically doing it. I think this is called, what is it, A Taste of Armageddon? I think that's the episode that this comes from.
Might be.
And this is really just sort of dystopian. I really do worry. I mean, like I said, I don't want war to be a terrible thing. I don't want there to be war at all. But I do feel like with all of the drones and the missiles and all this other stuff that Americans might be getting a little too blasé about, what's very real to the people who are on the receiving end of these things. Because the whole thing that's going on in Ukraine is just terrible. There are a lot of people getting unalived.
Mm-hmm.
And just because there's a lot of drones and stuff involved, you might think it's a video game, but it's not. It's pretty terrible.
You watch those combat footage videos from Ukraine. It's a stunning number of people who are being killed and being documented too. There's no doubt that this is happening.
Well, because of the jamming of the drones, there's two things that are coming about. One is more people are wanting to put AI in these things, so it becomes like a fire and forget that you're going to go kill somebody weapon.
Right.
And then the other part is they're using these fiber optic controlled drones now. They have these spools of fiber optic that go behind them, so the drone flies around. And a lot of the forests in some of the more contended areas is starting to look like spider webs are in those trees, and it's all this fiber optic cable from all these drones that are flying around killing everybody.
That's a non-starter. That won't be a solution to last long.
You just look up and see all of the spider webs in the trees of fiber optic cables and realize every single one of those represents a deadly weapon. It's like, holy
Yeah.
crap. Sorry, I don't mean to bring the mood down here,
It's
but
just amazing how fast they're producing drones too.
But
in
this isn't just an
Ukraine.
excuse for me to show a clip from Star Trek. I mean, I'm genuinely a little worried that Americans might be getting a little too desensitized from this stuff. Because it's becoming a bit of a video game sort of thing. Anyway, let's not think about that any further. Let's see. Japanese company uses Meow to detect stressed cats.
Okay.
That's a terrible headline, and I hate it.
I don't
Whoever
even
wrote
know.
it needs to be killed.
Raybo's cat log
Thank you, I'm not
smart
the only
collar
one.
sniffs
It's like,
for
well,
I
freaked out
approve.
felines, alerts owners with an app. Don't you want an app that beeps at you when your cat is upset or not
No, fuck
perfectly
no.
happy? I'm sorry, perfectly happy.
The cat is the exact reason why I
Very nice, Harry.
don't have. Oh, stop
That-
it. Just stop. At least Sora's got my back.
Yep,
100% on this.
$102.
You must stop.
Do you love your cat enough to use AI to basically spy on your cat, to basically LoJack your cat?
No, that's why I got a cat. They're independent. Let them do their shit. Then they get freaked out. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, why not? All right. Well,
They're not
speaking
dogs.
of
You don't need to
AI,
baby them.
I found this article. So it says the AI backlash keeps growing stronger. So Duolingo let a bunch of people go and said, we're going to become an AI forward company. Now, whether they let everybody
Oh,
go and
boy.
what the ratio is, I can't tell for sure. But I guess consumers got annoyed by this. It's becoming a bit of a stigma to say that you're an AI forward company, because we all know what it's like to deal with the stupid phone system that's got the AI in it and makes you waste 20 minutes trying to get a hold of a real human who can actually solve your problem. It's going to be like the whole thing where you have like the jitterbug phone. It says, and for your infirmed grandma, it's got phone support in the US. It's a nice young man named Jeremy. And so you pay extra to actually get like a real human to take care of you. But there seems to be a real stank to AI that's growing amongst consumers. Do any of you know of examples of this other than this Duolingo thing? Because I hear it when I hear people talk about stuff. They speak derisively about having to deal with all the AI crap with some of these companies. Or is it just me?
Everybody, when they think of AI, thinks of funny, satirical figures with six fingers on one hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's kind of a weirdness and kind of a defectiveness that is perceived about AI, and AI is still obviously it's at a formative stage. It's going to be a lot more than what it is now, but people see it as something kind of ersatz and ungenuine, and that feeling is a very deep-seated feeling. That feeling of ungenuineness. We value genuineness because it satisfies our need to reduce uncertainty, to make our environment as predictable as possible. That satisfy all these security needs that we have, and that's just the way that works.
I think AI tools are fine, but I mean, people are clearly overusing it. So there's this one here. Tech company fails to hire after 450 interviews, says candidates are copy pasting from AI. Yeah. And you hear the same thing from people in education at the university level going,
Just
these kids don't know anything. Like we
what
already
you
talked
need
about
to
bringing
do-
back blue books.
Yeah, you have to get them up there and say, show me how you would, show me how you would construct an essay that explains something that they should know, that you're interviewing for. Most of them can't do it. Most of them, they don't even know where to start. They can't even formulate a topic sentence. They've never been taught.
Yeah.
One thing too to point out, and why the AI stuff I think is kind of a big topic too, is that a lot of these companies were using AI to job hunt for them because and so as a result you had people developing AI to respond to the AI, like generate resumes that AI would then be able to pick up and like through keywords and stuff like that, be like, yeah, this is the ideal candidate. So there's a great meme where somebody posted, they're like, I didn't start the fight, I'm willing to end it.
Yeah.
But I think all it boils down to is it's a combination of people don't like feeling like, they're not being given proper attention, like in the case of the Duolingo, like AI customer support or these companies. And they also don't feel like the feeling like they're being phased out. I mean, this is the whole thing with like why the Luddites destroyed looms, So it's a combination of those feelings. So
Where the expression "throw a spanner in the works" came from. What the Luddites used.
Yep.
Well, Walmart and a lot of other places are laying off in the Bay Area. Lots of tech layoffs. How much of it is the bubble bursting and how much of it is, just sort of a healthy realignment, right? After maybe people being a little too overly optimistic about some tech stuff, right? How much of it's fueled by AI? How much of it's fueled by the bubble bursting? Kind of hard to tell. But there are a lot of layoffs. So like, for instance, Walmart, their tech department, they have such a thing. You'd be surprised. They they laid off 405 workers just from their Sunnyvale offices.
And these are software. These are IT folk.
200 of them are IT folks. I even know one of them.
Holy crap!
So this is like a lot of people. So similar to those in San Bruno, the Sunnyvale cuts stem from Walmart's overhauling its ranks of tech workers. In a May 21st memo from Global Chief Suresh Kumar and U.S. CEO John Furner to staff, the executives wrote, Walmart is reshaping some teams in our global tech and Walmart U.S. organizations where we have identified opportunities to remove layers and complexity, speed up decision-making, and help associates and innovate rapidly. Well, the innovate rapidly thing is probably AI, okay? And that's not all a bunch of middle managers and bureaucrats. When you start laying off people where it's like a 3-digit number, and those forces aren't that big, a lot of those people are people who are actually working on like the website and stuff like that. Yeah, 405 Sunnyvale layoffs alone. This is a lot for a company like that because they're not like a big tech company. This is them just going and just gutting big sections of their IT department. Not good. But I think AI has a small role to play in all of this.
Yep.
Yeah. Just an example.
I wonder if they did any DEI.
Sorry, they did some what?
I wonder if they did any DEI cleaning.
Oh gosh, I haven't been sharing this with you, have I? You guys should yell at me when I do stupid things like this.
What?
Not sharing what?
We saw a Walmart article.
Yeah, we saw
Yeah,
the
but I
Walmart
haven't been
article.
sharing it with you in Zoom. You're just watching it 30 seconds later in the stream.
No, it was in Zoom.
No, it was in
Here-
Zoom.
No, it was a Zoom.
Oh,
It was in
okay.
Zoom, Harry.
Because you were getting it in my camera, apparently. Oh,
Harry, it's not a bug. It's a feature. Calm
Okay.
down.
Don't worry, I would tell you if we were looking at
okay.
something.
Yeah.
As a consultant, don't be amazed when your software works.
I'm
Don't act amazed.
I'm
Act
amazed
like
that any
it-
of
it
this is
does-
working.
That it does this all the time. It works like this all the time.
Okay. So let me see. Now that that's doing that, I just want to make sure I'm not about to dox myself here. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so there's this new product. I guess they call it Nana Hats. Let's just make sure people can see that. So it's a hat. It's a banana keeper for freshness. Yeah, good times.
And it-
So you can get all
do you-
sorts of different styles.
This
You-
is really cute.
Do you know how
Stupid.
well that? Do you know how well that works? I was so absolutely thought there's no way this can work, and so I tried it. And I did it with the aluminum foil. Just put the aluminum foil around the end of the bananas.
Yeah.
Your bananas last. This is not an exaggeration. They last 2 to 3 times as long.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, and it's just preventing the it's an ethylene gas compound. So it's probably a sulfoxide of some sort, and it just prevents it from leaking out the end of the banana. That's all it does, and of course cascading across the banana and ripening the bananas, so the bananas take longer to ripen. It's a great idea.
What's also fun is you can do something very similar with lettuce. When you wrap it, just stick a paper towel in with it. And that works pretty well.
Yeah, or a silicon pack too. By the way,
Mhm.
that will also work.
Oh yeah. No, I like all these little tricks for keeping fruits and vegetables longer.
Yeah.
Well, when you grow tomatoes by the bushel, you really interested.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't want them to.
Well, it says
rot
bye bye
before you
banana
can get 'em
bread. Banana
converted
bread
to
is like the
sauce.
best part of bananas, honestly. I don't know.
You're not wrong. Bananas are so good for you, though. They're just amazingly good for you.
Yeah, it's fine. So Serenity
But,
is gone. She won't be back for a bit, right?
Like forever? Oh.
Okay. California Democrats pushed reform to stop refinery shutdowns. So they have like they basically harass the refineries all the time because they're big and evil and they sell
Make
gasoline.
smoky.
Right.
They make smoke.
So there are 10 refineries in California which make our super exclusive blend of gasoline because California has to have gasoline that's different from
that's right.
every other state in the United
That's
States.
right.
Because
Yes.
that's how to really keep prices down is to have this
Oh,
bespoke
be
gasoline.
special.
Yeah.
And you need to just grow more corn.
So they've
Anyway.
decided that maybe $8 a gallon gas is going to look really bad. So they've introduced a bill, 7 Democratic senators, that would require the Energy Commission to transition to a less stringent gasoline specification that's in line with other Western states. Meaning we could use the same gas as Oregon and Washington State, and we wouldn't have to be just this little outlier. It's like, I know, what an amazing thought. But it's only the prospect of $8 a gallon gas that's driving them to care about any of this, because they really
I just
don't care.
If you fill up your tank in Oregon and drive into California, you've just broken the law, haven't you?
No, that's okay. You can run out that tank.
No, you're burning illegal gas. You're not allowed
No,
to
you can
that.
burn the gas, you just can't sell it.
No, you're not allowed. I don't think you're allowed to use it.
They do not make you. It's not like an airplane coming in where you have to burn off all the fuel if there's a problem. Remember
Well, they
that?
could
What was
have-
that?
they have, like- yeah, they could have like orbiting things just outside of California where you go around burning off.
Wasn't it the
fuel and
F-111 that
Robert-
basically had a
Yes, yes,
like a fuel
yeah, the
dump
aardvark.
nozzle that was right with by the jet engine exhaust? So when you dump fuel, a huge flame would come out the back of the plane.
Exactly right. It was an amazing sight. The aardvark.
Yeah.
The F-111 aardvark.
God, those were great looking planes.
That's one of my favorite planes.
So
it's got a cockpit that's kind of like a little clubhouse. It's pretty cool.
Well, they're also talking about establishing, making the bureaucratic part of all the stuff, all the permits and things they have to deal with easier. But they still haven't done anything about the cap on profits that's being put forward. Newsom might be trying to water that down. Nor have they done anything about the liability that's been set up where individual cities are claiming that they can essentially carbon tax them for their global, production of oil.
Profits.
Yeah.
Cap on profits.
Yeah.
Really, you can only be this good. You can only be this efficient.
Well, you wouldn't want price gouging.
Well, no, that's right. Yeah, so we got to have Diana Moon glampers making sure everybody's equally miserable. It makes me crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the $8 gallon gas. That's why I definitely need to get that new motorcycle that gets like 70 miles to the gallon, so that I can just decide I don't care. I shouldn't have to think that way, but I'm already essentially setting up my future buying behavior around the assumption that I'm just inevitably there's going to be like gas rationing or just something. Gas rationing is just the worst, like odd even. Oh, sorry, you can't buy gas because you have an odd number at the end of your gas tank.
That was such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, don't make me fill my tank, siphon it out into a tank, go back and get more just so I can run my car the next day.
Right. You remember that, don't you, Harry?
Oh, yeah. Odd even stuff during the 70s.
Yeah, and it was by your license plate number, the last digit of your license plate.
Yeah, and I can't remember what they do with vanity plates. I think they just default to being odd or something.
Yeah, it was something like that. All vanity plates were the same day.
Oh, speaking of being old, I did something. I guess this is not like getting an AARP membership, but it's almost as good. Are you familiar with QVC, Sora?
Yes.
Okay, I bought something from QVC for the first time. Okay, so now I'm officially old. I feel like it's.
But was it from the TV QVC where you called in, or from the website?
It was from the website, but I still think it counts. I still think it counts.
Think it counts.
They have an amazing YouTube site.
I missed that. I used to watch it because it's one of the few programs we had when I was really little, and when you're home sick from school, put on the shopping channel. It was great.
Yeah. Well, I think so. Like QVC, they just have all this stuff. Now, if you look at the front page of their website, you see almost no men. I'm not sure this guy counts. He probably crosses his legs in a very ball crushing.
When he sits down to pee,
he sits down to pee.
Yeah,
very definitely.
And crosses his legs on the toilet.
Yep, and he does not man spread.
So you notice that they have all this, these things you can buy. They had, last I checked, they had like a whole thing devoted to just wine. So cool. I really feel like this is designed for like
a certain age of woman.
A certain age of woman who wants to buy stuff and drink wine while they buy stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
would
wine
you,
mom and all of us.
Yeah, send us a picture of your dog and we will have somebody hand paint your dog's face in cartoon form on a wine glass. So you can, I don't know, just that kind of crap. There's just a lot of tat. Here we are, one-on-one wine pairing tips with Mary DeAngelis. It really is this really is just crack for women of a certain age, don't you think?
That is, very definitely.
It's the girl dinner of home shopping. I'm surprised you're not asking me what I bought.
Well,
I want to know what you bought.
It was private, but please.
Okay, so I have this.
Was it a marital aid?
I have, yeah, it's totally a marital aid. QVC marital aid. That's been nice knowing you. So I've had this cooler, which is the perfect thing for picking up to-go stuff.
Yeah.
And because it's roughly a cube, it's like 10 by 10 by 10. And every time I try to buy something to replace it, they'll go, oh, we don't want to make it like stick out too far, so we'll make it be 10 by 10 by 8. So it's not deep enough for a to-go container.
Yeah.
Because the to-go containers are like usually either 6 by 9 or 8 by 8. So I just want something that will sort of snugly hold takeout food that I pick up and then strap to the back of my motorcycle or put in my car. And
Nice.
so I've had this thing that has just been falling apart. Like the outside of it has just been peeling off, and it's really in really sad shape. But I haven't been able to find anything that's quite right to replace it because they just don't make it in that size. So I look on the front and it says like California Innovations. I go, oh, I wonder if they still make stuff. Well, they do, and they only sell it on QVC. So I'm like, okay, I guess
I own a bunch of stuff.
Guess I'm
'Cause my mom
buying.
likes-
Guess I'm buying shit from QVC now because I'm that many days old.
My mom buys
happens.
like stuff from QVC. And
You're
California
not.
Video-
You're not. That's not a rebuttal.
No, what I'm saying is we have a bunch of California Innovation stuff that they make that they've sold on the
I don't know
site.
if you're trying to help or drive the stake in further.
My mom likes it. There you go.
Okay. God damn it.
You're old, Harry. We're all old.
We're
The only
all
one here
officially
who's not-
old.
The only
Listen,
one here who's
it's
not
like-
old is Geo. That's the only one.
I don't know. There's
Uh,
something comforting about QVC and stuff. So just
Yeah.
embrace it.
It's like
okay.
a fuzzy blanket for your soul.
Lie back. Just lie back and be quiet. Just
Yeah.
lie back
Look.
and take it. Just
Look,
Sheep
Harry.
pan
I mean,
French chicken.
look, Harry. I mean, you've got like the tile, like wine and cheese
Wine on
pairings.
wine.
I mean, yeah.
also most of those are like 5 years old.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. Everything that's in that shot is
looks
probably
good.
available on QVC, except for the chicken thighs.
No, they sell food on QVC.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, my mom
Oh.
orders a bunch of stuff from like Rastelli's and stuff like that.
Oh, God. Okay.
This recipe looks very tasty, though. It's not difficult to make. Yeah.
Well, cooking can be hard. Functionally, you said you wanted some cooking videos, right?
Yeah.
You have some fun ones?
Okay. Let's
Why would you? What the fuck, Harry?
It's
I
funny because it
feel
hurts.
like we're laughing at it. I feel like this is senior abuse.
Well, for one thing, speaking for seniors here, as a senior,
Yes.
not all of us are big a dipshit that we would burn ourselves so incautiously. We've learned at this juncture, at this plane of living, to watch out for hot things.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about being old, it's just like being young, except you're not as fast. It hurts more, and you always have to be more careful. You really do have to think ahead. And but other than that, and impending death, of course. And other than that, it's the same
Is
as
it?
being young.
Thank you.
So you want to see a good cooking video?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I feel like I owe this to you. Okay, so here's somebody actually cooking and kicking ass, and this isn't sarcasm. Functional. This I
Okay.
was actually impressed by this.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a new dish at Charlie's in Brown's Hotel here in
Sounds
Malta.
like a real chef.
Probably the most iconic dish you can imagine, the dish that everybody loves.
Chicken Kiev.
It's chicken Kiev. Take off the fillet. This is a corn-fed chicken, which is why it's
fillet.
got a slightly different coloration to it.
Now
All
look
the
at
way
this.
down the
Filling?
Pocket, all the way down the back there. Open
He's-
that right up.
He's not filleting it. He's making a little pocket in it to stuff it. This is beautiful.
We get this beautiful compound butter we make. 7 secret spices and a load of wild garlic. Take our fillet and we just flatten it a little bit.
Fillet.
Put it in that way round, like that. Tuck it in, and then outside over, fold it over.
Look at how nice that is. It's like a little, he like basically created like a little cavity in it without slicing it or rolling it or tying it up or anything. And then he's using the tenderloin essentially as a patch to seal it. I've never, maybe I'm just naive, but I've actually never seen that particular technique. It makes
I
perfect
have
sense in
never seen
hindsight.
this, and I've seen a lot of stuff I've seen a lot of cooking in my life. I've
Have
never
you seen a
anybody
dude do this before?
I've never
Yeah,
seen this.
I do it.
Oh, okay.
If I
Shut
have
up, functional.
fresh-
You know everything.
I do not. I just.
In that way round.
It's
Like that.
like Harry
Tuck
says.
it
It in seeing it in hindsight, it's like kind of like duh.
Yeah.
And I mean,
So this is a
yeah, it's just like you take the breast and like
egg to coat
just
nicely.
hollow it out. What I used to do before I started doing that, when I found that out 12, 13 years ago, I would
Because there is
slice
a
it along
filling to this,
the
you wanna make sure it doesn't
side,
bleed out everywhere.
like a pita.
Just give
So
it
not
another
quite at the
coat,
edge of the breast,
just to be
but just like maybe a centimeter in on on an angle, and then in. So it's creating that pocket, and then that little lip at the end is it effectually is the same thing.
like so.
Yeah.
As always,
But this
we're
is
gonna
Because
really
as you're
swanky.
cooking it, it just the proteins in the meat bind. That looks so fucking fantastic.
Doesn't it though?
That just looks amazing.
It's got that perfect just
That
gradient
crust is
of
just yes.
yeah.
And look
yeah.
how
just
what a beautiful job
perfection.
of Frenching that little wing bone, and
Yes,
just the
yes,
whole
yes,
presentation
yeah,
is so
just loving
nice.
it.
Yeah,
Loving it so much.
I
Yeah.
want that right now.
my eyes and
I-
my stomach love that.
I love how he did the Kiev with the cream spinach inside.
That was like a compound butter that he put in.
Oh, it was just the compound
No.
butter, so the
Yeah.
cream
No.
spinach is on the side. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at how nice this is.
My
You
God.
know,
See, I
that's-
do watch
that's
videos
actually-
by people who know what they're doing.
But where's the-
You know, that's a great idea, though, functional. Putting the spinach inside.
No, but it's on the outside here.
I know,
Like
but
cutting fish,
I'm
you
just
can-
saying. I think
But then
functional
it
has a
wouldn't be
great
chicken
idea.
Kiev.
Well, no, opposite. The spinach filling is supposed to go inside the chicken. That's why I thought he was
Well,
doing
this
it.
is chicken Kiev.
This is chicken Houston.
Chicken Kiev
It's different
is
from
just
chicken
seasoned. Is just
Kiev.
seasoned butter.
I think he's
I
using
thought
the
it-
seasoned butter. Yeah.
Chicken El Paso.
I thought
And it doesn't
chicken
have.
Kiev had dairy and spinach in
No,
Yeah,
no,
inside.
no.
Chick Kiev
I think
is
that's a
dairy
different thing,
dish.
and I could be wrong, but I believe it's
No,
just seasoned
no.
butter.
No.
Serenity,
What?
can you look
Chick
this up?
Kiev-
So
Chicken Kiev has all kinds of milk and shit in it, doesn't it? Serenity,
yeah, there's a dairy
look that
inner
up for us.
the inner
Uh,
filling is the dairy and spinach.
Well,
Dish made of chicken fillet pounded and rolled around cold butter, then coated with egg, breadcrumbs, and either fried or baked.
Yeah, I'm right.
Okay, I'm wrong.
Excellent.
No,
Right.
Yeah.
Because what I understand what he's doing here, he's taking the spinach
thought-
out
No, the
and
spinach.
using it as
No,
I-
the spinach isn't supposed to be in chicken Kiev.
not
That's
any
the thing.
chicken Kiev I've ever cooked. Okay, like
Yeah. It does sound delicious. I will happily eat it, but words matter.
Yeah.
yeah, you will eat it.
Yeah, and you'll like it.
Wait, is it
Forever.
Kiev? Is it Kiev?
KYIV.
No, no,
Or
no,
is
no,
it
no, no,
Kiev?
no, no, no.
It's the Kiev, Pennsylvania.
It's
The chicken
K-I-E-V.
Kiev, Pennsylvania is different
K-
from the.
Okay,
from
and
the
what?
other
Wait,
one.
what does the video say? I have to like expand this. No, KYIV. He put it right there. Chicken KY Kiev.
I usually see it spelled K-I-E-V, but it's spelled both ways, and it's the same thing.
Well, he's
I don't
foreign.
know what the KIEV thing is.
But he has knife skills and he knows how to use them. And
Yes.
I really like this channel. I mean, if
I
I was
just
actually
love the
logged in,
specific
I
set of
would
skills.
subscribe it.
That
The
that restaurant
presentation
is
of that
expensive.
is
What
that's exquisite.
What is it? Chef Adam
Brian.
At
Byatt.
Char- at-
B-Y-A-T-T.
It's at the Charlie's in Mayfair. It's a restaurant inside of a hotel in the Browns Hotel.
Adam Byatt.
Yeah.
It's expensive. The cheapest thing they have for their main course is grilled New Season leeks, macadamia dressing, rocket, and lime emulsion. That's 30 pounds.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to eat there. I'm just,
I know, I'm
these
just
guys.
looking at this going,
This is
"Bitch,
how
what?"
this is how I just keep pushing my own limits
Okay.
because
40 bucks for leeks?
Okay, we've got that
there's
fantastic
there's a guy
ratatouille
who
now.
knows a lot about Amish cooking, Serenity, and I'm watching his videos and I'm going, this is fucking fantastic food. Simple, like classic American,
Take a tomato,
no
well,
bullshit. Oh my god, like this guy does have knife skills.
He does.
Yeah.
Look at
and you make
he
it a
just
stack.
he went through that and they're all
So
the
what
same
you do, As a
thickness.
stacks of
I
I
want that
fucking
too.
hate this
add our
guy
ratatouille.
Yeah.
because my hands shake too much these days to get that perfect. No, I'm just kidding.
can use a mandolin.
But Sora, if you ever go back to London, I know you're muted, but if you ever go back to
I'm here.
London at any point, you want to go to Charlie's. This seems like your kind of shit.
Okay, so we have to. I've got one more thing that I want to do, and it's basically sort of an "Am I the asshole" type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are
Oh
you-
yeah, we're
are
coming
you-
I
back to
love
that.
this stuff.
Great.
Yeah. So let me see. Let's make sure it's actually going to
Yes.
load because it's been a week. So maybe
Exactly,
it's,
Serenity
I'm
with
going to
Harry
have to do the thing. No, looks like it's still there.
I need to know the
Answer is always
tone,
yes.
Harry. I need to know the tone.
Okay, so here's the thing. So, dear Abby, what do I look like? The Cheesecake Factory? I chewed my daughter out for her ungrateful reaction to the birthday cake. Okay, so I offered to bake her a sugar-free cheesecake for her birthday,
Okay.
and she agreed, but she asked me to make a tester cake 3 days before. I explained that the cake has a lengthy preparation process because she's weak. Okay. Involving a very slow bake in a water bath and a 12-hour chill time. Okay, to be fair, not hard to create a water bath. I'm really good at cooking cheesecake, and the 12 hours is just overnight in the refrigerator. It's not like 12 hours of labor in the dilithium mines with a pickaxe. This is those 12 hours are not hours of work.
Yeah, they're not.
It's just planning ahead.
Unless she sucks that bad.
She sucks. Okay, so I'm telescoping it. She insisted on sampling it ahead of time, so I made it early. She cut a slice of it and exclaimed how great it tasted. Okay, 3 days later, I baked and decorated a carrot cake to use as her official birthday cake since the sugar-free cake had been cut and wouldn't look nice in photos. Carrot is her children's favorite. I hosted everyone in an expensive restaurant, gave her French perfume and a weekend getaway. When we returned from the dinner, my daughter angrily
I
said,
hate these people.
"Get in
already.
here so we can cut this stupid cake which I can't eat." I was shocked and confused. She said, I should have made a cake of a flavor I shouldn't have made a cake of a flavor she dislikes. I pointed out that she had the sugar-free cheesecake too. Apparently, she had expected me to bake a second sugar-free cheesecake. Now, the Am I the asshole thing is, this woman who's asking Dear Abby is a complete moron, okay? Because I knew exactly what she meant by tester cake. And she doesn't have to just be like her baking slave, right? But she could just say, I don't feel like doing that, or I don't think it's right, or why don't I make a cake for everybody else? Or trust me and I'll have 2 cakes at the time of your birthday. These people are all terrible, but in particular, the mom is really trying to play up the sympathy thing here for Dear Abby because she wants somebody to tell her, oh, they're there. Nobody understands you. You're the best mom ever, and you make the best cheesecake ever. And your daughter is a University of North Texas cup holder, and you know, and all this sort of stuff. So, am I the asshole for thinking the mom is fucking terrible?
No, what?
No, I think we
What
are.
you-
It's insufferable how she wrote it.
What
It's
you-
insufferable, but also does she have a work outside of it, or is she a stay-at-home mom who doesn't have any kids anymore? Because if she also works, I can understand being like, I don't want to have to make, and carrot cake's massively easy, especially when you don't have to worry about sugar-free. So it's like everybody's an asshole. This is ESH, in my opinion.
Really well-made carrot cake is not that easy. It's actually way, way, way more work than cheesecake. Cheesecake is incredibly easy. Carrot cake, if you're going to make a really good one, actually does take a bit of work.
If she says carrot is her children's favorite, I'm assuming since it's for kids, she's not putting that much work into it.
Yeah.
She wanted to make it physically pretty, which as long as you have passable icing skills, you can do. But this is an ESH. Everybody's an asshole.
I'm trying to remember which book I have that I got a carrot cake recipe out of, but it was the person who wrote the book. It's the carrot cake that they made for their own wedding. So expert in making cakes, what they made for their own wedding. This is not a simple carrot cake. Cheesecake is really easy to make. But the daughter is kind of being a bitch because even if she's upset, she should just keep her mouth shut. But I think the mom is the biggest bitch of all. The daughter is insufferable. You know, first of all, I can't have sugar. Shut up.
Well, it's like she says sugar-free, but she doesn't say diabetic or anything like that. That's my thing. If someone's diabetic, you usually say it.
Oh, I'm so glad you
Yeah,
said that because the next Am I the Asshole thing is a little more challenging. There's a much higher chance you're going to tell me I'm the asshole on this next one.
Do it.
Do it.
Okay.
Hit that
Okay. 8 diabetes myths. I always want to say it like Wilford Brimley now.
May he
Diabetes
rest in peace.
myths I'm over and I want to clear up. Okay. So
It's
here's
not showing on the screen.
what?
It's not showing on the screen. If you
Well, it's
type
because
it
I
out
haven't
up
clicked
there.
it yet.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I'm just setting it up. Okay.
Well, sometimes one way or the other.
So this woman,
That's-
she's got an energy to her. I don't like
Lord.
it. You can tell me I'm being the asshole, but something about this
the
is
button,
just
Harry.
wrong.
I think we could probably all agree that one of the most annoying things our non-diabetic friends and family do, they continue to say the same like myths and misconceptions about diabetes, and we continue to try to correct them, and then it just like doesn't even make.
See that face?
Yeah.
And so she's got a channel called Diabetes Nerd. Okay. And I'm sure and I'm not just being an ass here. I'm sure she's a lovely human being and she's just kind of doing an act because this is the way she makes her videos and stuff. But this really does just sort of feel like I'm not attention seeking, but I'm attention seeking.
Make a difference, and they just keep saying the same things. Like, every time they see you at a holiday and you're eating something that might have sugar in it, or, a spoonful of potatoes, and they're like, oh, should you be eating that? Oh, it's exhausting.
I know. How dare you people be concerned about my well-being? I've tried to teach you and you just won't enact the learning that I'm trying to bestow on you. It's irritating.
Yeah. I get what she's saying, but it's kind of goes back to the there's a reason I don't talk about having Tourette's. And that's because I've dealt with a lot of the people who tried to popularize it or tried to make it their identity. And I don't
fake it.
Or fake it. And I don't want to encourage that at all. And she's reminded me a lot of those people. So
yeah, I had I injured myself really badly at one time, and I decided at that point that although I was suffering and I certainly could have played it up for sympathy, I didn't want my injury to become something that was a defining characteristic of myself. And then the same thing happened that I have, I've told people I have this chronic idiopathic urticaria thing. My body's just allergic to itself and random stimuli, and sometimes it just sucks. It was the most miserable thing. It's way better now than it used to be. But similarly, I did not want my life to be defined by this insanely annoying condition. A condition which statistically actually has a high rate of people unaliving themselves because they just can't take it. Okay, mercifully, I wasn't that bad. But you understand, like twice in my life, I've had the opportunity to become the victim and make the victim be this cloak that I wear. So when I see something like this, just with the vocal fry and all of the stuff, she's given me like the same kind of energy as this girl.
Oh God.
Wait, see, I'm not getting sound.
It's so weird.
Is this the new Boxy?
As a 2024 bride,
Oh my God, make it stop.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Like, honey, you don't have to.
It's
you
like
don't
the
have to
same
put your
kind of
eyes that
energy, because I feel like if she's trying to convince people, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but it bugs me.
Because they want to be the main person. They want to be the main character. I mean, they want to be the central of attention, especially the bridal one. So, well, at least with this one, if she actually has diabetes, that at least that's actually there. Hopefully, she's not faking it because that's never good.
No.
But with the other one, it's just like such a non-problem. Even something like this, it's not really. Where's I don't know.
I still feel kind of like I'm being a bit of an asshole, but it's like I'm not going to be an asshole, not going to be an asshole. And then it hits a tipping point where I start to get something akin to the ick, and I go, okay, I'm just going to be an asshole about this now.
I think what boils down to, Harry, between the cake one and this one is with the cake one, the whole situation is just so ridiculous, and and you also are familiar with like making carrot cake and things like that. And you're like, okay, this could be way simpler, or this isn't quite as stressful as at least from what it sounds like. In this case, it's like you're looking at it's not that what she's saying is entirely invalid with like the diabetes commentary. It's the way it's presented and how she's behaving that's giving you the ick. So
I mean, her main gripe is that basically the people around her who claim to care about her seem to be slow on the pickup that, you know, she can manage her own diet and she doesn't need them white knighting all the time at the buffet table, right?
Yeah.
And there's definitely a way to say that that's totally not what she's doing.
Exactly.
She just comes off sounding like she's kind of entitled and annoyed.
Oh, you want to hear something real fun?
Sure.
I'm on her LinkedIn page because I'm that asshole.
OnlyFans? OnlyFans?
LinkedIn, but it's
no, I was just doing the thought or not.
She's
thing.
not a doctor. She is not a nurse. She has no medical background. Her title is literally diabetes content marketing specialist.
Ah.
Oh God.
Yeah, but
Okay.
About the diabetes nerd team, because there's a team of them gets things done. So we nerd out on marketing for diabetes focused mission, service, product, and research. We can help you. We work startups, biotechs, products, clinical trials, nonprofits, and more. And it's like full service or a la carte social media management, full service video and graphic editing, branded website, product copy design, influence campaign management, clinical trial study recruitment, paid social advertising management. She's just she's just an influencer. That's all she is.
So she's not a legitimate person being legitimately annoyed by her totally real friends.
She has had it for 25 years. So she is like, she does have it.
Yeah, which is
allegedly
terrible.
what she claims. But it's one of those things where it's like,
okay, she made it her identity.
Yeah, that's the issue. It's like, honey, get effed.
I think maybe if I hadn't chosen such a different path, maybe it wouldn't annoy me quite so much. But I feel kind of strongly about this sort of thing. I mean, there's definitely people where they can't get away from something being their identity, right?
Well,
and then
it's never
there's the
too late
choice that
to
you
start
make.
your OnlyFans, Harry.
Yeah, absolutely. I should check my bank
Only
book.
nerds.
Yeah,
but no, tying it back to this the thing at the beginning of the stream. It's like these people are a dime a dozen. Content managers and social media is not that hard to run.
I have something for you, Serenity.
Oh God.
You know how you like nice properties and stuff?
Oh yes, hello.
Cheddington, Bedminster, Dorset, £9,950,000.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right down the aisle. Oh boy.
Yeah. Country house, 8 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 27,000 square feet.
Can I employ my own guard? This way none of the riffraff from London can get there?
Well, we compare this to some of the house in Carmel that we showed that was $10 million, I think, not that long ago. You get I know that pounds and dollars are not necessarily the same, but you can get an awful lot.
That's $12.1 million US.
This is a lot more value, I think, than some of the other things we've looked at.
Is it a grade 2 property?
Is there already central heating and electricity
that's
and stuff
pretty.
in this?
You just rub two slaves together and that's what generates the heat.
No. It's England, Harry. It's England. They got rid of slavery. They have indentured servitude. That's not the same.
Right. Nice little place for $10 million.
God, that's beautiful. Look at that.
It looks like someone did it up as an Airbnb. Tried to do it as a bed and breakfast.
It looks like those columns can't decide whether they want to be Ionic or Corinthian.
It's the English for you.
Okay, it's a little bit dingbatty because the top is one style and then they're weirdly pudged out in the middle. What the hell?
The bottom is Doric. The top is Corinthian.
It's very confused architecturally.
It's English.
Nice table.
I love when they do that to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very pretty. I don't know what it's called, but I like it.
I should definitely buy this place.
I bet you someone's going to paint that staircase.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Really brighten it up. Put a little white paint over this old wood.
Smack 'em.
Somebody's already remodeled the kitchen.
They'll post a YouTube video on how I restored this old staircase from this.
And everybody comes in and whacks them.
I upcycled this staircase.
Ooh, they have a hidden fridge. See, even the fridge has the paneling to match the cabinets. I like that.
See, I want one of those, but I want it to be mid-century. I want it to just be like wood paneling and then secret fridge behind the wood paneling. Do you ever watch Archer, that terrible cartoon?
No.
Anybody?
Terrible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So if you look at Archer's kitchen that was showed up in one of the episodes, he has the hidden fridge with the wood paneling, and I'm like, yes, I absolutely want one of those. Yeah,
But it usually, especially in old English houses, if the kitchen's remodeled, the kitchen was usually bare walls anyway. So if it's remodeled, that's fine.
See, in the winter, you can go out to your little sunroom.
Oh, how pretty.
The solarium.
Oh, wow, that's a room.
Wood paneling.
That's not wood paneling. That's wood.
I know, but still.
Where do we get the term
That's a tree.
room and board?
A real tree.
Yeah.
Look
Where
how
do we get
pretty.
the term room and board?
This one?
Yeah.
No,
You can be like a
That's pretty.
princess
That's
with his chandelier.
that's very pretty. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at those stairs. You go to your balcony. But see, the reason they have those thick draping is to keep out the draft. I bet you those windows are not double paned.
I've been hanging on to this for when you and Serenity were both here. I knew I couldn't really show it with just one of you.
So wonderful.
That's a silver chandelier. That's a crystal chandelier.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Oh, go back. Look at that vanity. How pretty.
That's a very nice vanity. I always like it when they have adjustable mirrors because then you can also get the light on you right.
Yeah.
Because that's always the problem.
Good for streaming. Yeah.
Now that's a nice bathroom. Look
That's
at that.
a nice bathtub, yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice room.
Oh, they have the original toilet. That's cool.
Little greenhouse.
Like the grounds.
The person who
nice little
restored
pool.
this did beautifully on it. I'm sad they're selling it, but they're probably trying to get the F out the country before it goes belly up.
$12 million.
Well, it's 9.9 million pounds, so it's 13 something. Because I had to do the math again because I saw the 9 after the 9.
Well, I thought that you would like that.
It's awesome, but it's going to go to someone who's going to turn it into a boutique hotel.
So I have a welcome back present for Sora. Okay, and then we'll call it. Okay.
Okay.
10 teeny tiny Chevrotians meet the smallest hooved mammals on Earth.
Here we go.
Oh my god!
A group of teeny tiny mouse deer is the family Tragulidae. Numbers 10 species that live in warmer parts of Southeast Asia, India, and Africa. They are small, delicate, and extremely elusive. They are the Chevrotians. Technically, these animals are neither related to mice nor deer, instead existing in their own taxonomic family.
Same size as the Cocker Spaniel.
Like deer, they are classed as ungulates and ruminants and possess a 4-chambered stomach. So they're vegetarians, Sora. You could feed them little vegetable matter and then they could just hang out with you.
Or just eat the mushrooms that grow on you after you die.
I thought this might break Sora.
Look at your little nose. You know that little nose goes up and down. You know that nose goes up and down.
Look at their little toothpick legs. God, they're so cute.
Oh, that's not a face you want to see.
Well, it says eagle versus water Chevrotian. We don't want to see the eagle eat that.
No.
We're not going to watch that.
Eaten.
We'll just go back to this and pretend that there are no eagles. Okay, are you happy now?
What use was the evolution of this creature, you know?
Just to
when
amuse
you see these kind of animals, it's like, what
Food
the
for higher
hell?
predators.
This is the creator's gift for you, Sora. I can't really think of any other use that they have. Just to stand there and be cute.
Look
Where
at
are
those
they
big
from?
eyes.
They're in India, Southeast Asia, and South America, I believe.
And Africa.
Interesting.
Not South America, because Snooki and her crowd would have eaten them all by now.
Probably.
Skep knows what I'm talking about. You know, from Jersey Shore or something, wasn't she?
Yeah,
from,
what would she eat? Does she eat?
Well, she comes from the land where they eat guinea pigs, so I figured this would just be fair game.
Yeah.
Look at those Chevrotians. They look delicious.
Look at it, little
Hey, people eat guinea pigs.
Yeah, exactly.
They're delicious.
Yeah.
This I suppose is like eating a game hen or a quail.
It's the Cornish game hen of the deer family.
It's just those are toothpick legs.
Yeah.
Those are you breathe on that leg wrong, that thing snaps like nobody's business. It's just
if you deep fry it, you can use it as it's like the stick.
There you go.
Stick.
Yeah.
Aww.
This is so small that your dogs would be able to bully it.
Minnie would bully it to something bigger than her. Like, what do you think a terrier does?
that bully would be the good thing.
She'd probably chew it.
that would be alive.
Well, and we did it again. Another show. Sorry we started
Yay.
a little bit late. Sorry we're finishing a little bit late. But there'll be more memes that are not suitable for the stream after the show.
Now the Geodes
No,
is here, yes.
Hate Campbell and Richard had joined the show.
Yep.
And Cryptic.
Nice to see you guys.
Cryptic did
Cryptic's
a
there.
drive-by.
Yep.
Like,
And I actually said hi to those people in chat. I've actually been keeping an eye on chat. I know the one night we don't have Assassin, and I'm actually paying attention to the chat. It's
You're doing
who
a
would
hell
have
of a
thought?
job.
He'll get you later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Minions Zoo, the thing. Good night, everybody.